Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky Widmer here from the Onside Kick, here to give you my Friday video. And today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about the story that I've been hearing floating around from place to place, how Chris Paul is unhappy with the Clippers organization. The reason why he is not too happy with them is because their owner, Donald Sterling, went out and he did an interview with the Los Angeles Times. And in that interview, he kind of said that it was Chris Paul and Blake Griffin who were to blame for Vinny Del Negro's firing a little bit earlier this month. And when, just a little sidebar, when Vinny Del Negro was let go, I'm a Bulls fan, so I could see the pros and the cons to firing Vinny Del Negro, but Del Negro is a different coach than he was here in Chicago. He had the best regular season in Clipper history. The Clippers are on a rise to maybe be more popular in Los Angeles than the Lakers, which I didn't think would ever happen. And when you look back to Del Negro in Chicago, it was kind of like, I always thought of him as, he's a coach that's like, oh, we'll go 500, but we needed that next factor. I was shocked when the Clippers decided to let him go, but I guess Sterling was asked by the LA Times if Del Negro is fired just to hang on to Chris Paul, and he said, and I want to read his quote, "I always want to be honest and not say anything that is not true, so I'd rather not say anything. But the coach did a really good job. I think he did, and I liked working with him. There are just factors that make life very complicated and very challenging," end quote. And I mean, Sterling didn't come out and say, yeah, you know what, we fired him because of Chris Paul. Yeah, we fired him because we want to hang on to Chris Paul. But he kind of hinted at it. And I mean, right now, if I'm Chris Paul, go ahead, be angry. I'd be angry too. The source that was talking to ESPN Chicago said, and I quote, "He's angry right now, and his anger is directed towards the Clippers organization. Chris is a man of principle, and if he feels like you've gone against his principles, it will affect how he feels about you," end quote. And I'm the same way. I kind of side with Chris Paul. If your owner goes out and kind of hints that, yeah, you know what, we got rid of our coach because so-and-so wanted him gone, and if that's not the case, I'm angry. Even if it was the case, I'm angry. Because as an owner, you don't do that. You don't throw your own players into the public eye. You don't put a spotlight on them. If anything, you want to take the spotlight off of your players. And I mean, yes, it's LA. The spotlight's always going to be on you. But if you're going to put a spotlight on your players, it's got to be a positive spotlight. You can't have it to where your players have a negative image because he's getting the rap now where, oh, well, he's a guy that just wants his coach to be gone. If he doesn't like the coach, then they're going to get rid of him because he doesn't want it. And I mean, no, you don't do that. And if I'm Chris Paul, I don't re-sign with the Clips. If I was Chris Paul, I would not re-sign with the Clippers because of this incident. It kind of reminds me of just a saying that my mother used to tell me, where it was, stab me once, shame on you, stab me twice, shame on me. If your owner Donald Sterling did it once, he'll do it again. Who says if they bring in their next coach and he's not that good, they fire him, they blame you again? I could see that happening, especially with what has gone on this week with Sterling basically hinting at Chris Paul is the reason they fired Vinny Del Negro. If I'm Chris Paul, like I said, don't sign with the Clips. You know who I do sign with? And I mean, ESPN is saying that the Clippers can offer him the most money. They can offer him $28 million more than any other club. But if I'm Chris Paul, that money ain't a factor. I take my talents from the red, white, and blue in LA to the purple and gold. I sign with the Lakers, and I do it just out of spite because, one, Chris Paul playing with Kobe. I mean, Kobe doesn't have a huge shelf life, but he's got a decent shelf life in the NBA. He'll be around for maybe, I'd say, 3 to 4 years, which if you put Chris Paul, Kobe Bryant, and then, I mean, yes, you would like Dwight Howard on that team, but even without Dwight, I mean, you can win a championship in LA with Chris Paul. You kind of do what the league blocked you from doing when Chris Paul was traded to the Clippers. And if I'm Chris Paul, I sign with the Lakers. And if I am Kobe Bryant, I am pushing management of the Lakers to basically get this deal done. I'm pushing to be like, hey, make sure you go out. I don't care if we get Dwight or not. Go out there, get Chris Paul. He is what is going to make us win. And if you can't get a deal done with Dwight Howard, maybe try to work something out with a sign and trade. I'm betting you that any team in the top 5 of the NBA draft this year would trade their pick for Dwight Howard. They would trade their pick and maybe a few other picks, maybe a few role players just for Dwight Howard, just because of how weak this draft is. I mean, that's what I'm doing. If I'm Kobe, I'm pushing for Chris Paul. If I'm Chris Paul, I go out of spite. I sign with the Lakers. You're in LA anyways. You don't have to relocate that much. And how bad would that be, just one of these right to the Los Angeles Clippers? Like, you know what? Yeah, you did this to me. I'm angry. I'm going to go sign with the crosstown rival. That's what I think. I think Chris Paul should sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. But as always, that's what I think. I want to know what you think. Tell me down below what you think. Should Chris Paul just sit on it, say, okay, what's done is done, and re-sign with the Clippers, or should he go elsewhere? And would the Lakers be a good destination for Chris Paul to go to? Also, check out our other videos, and as always, like us on Facebook at facebook.com/The Onside Kick. Follow us on Twitter at Onside Kick Real, and more importantly, subscribe for all the best sports insight videos here on the Onside Kick. And as always, have a good day, everybody.